Chelsea, I have a new camera.
Ooh, it's the new Sony.
It is the Sony a7C.
It's really pretty. They made a cute one. I like the flip screen. It's a little bit like stripped down, like they don't have some of the buttons here. It's definitely a more compact camera.
What about the cards?
Oh, it's on the other side now.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, it's one card slot and...
Oh, one card slot.
And it's an SD card.
It's 24 megapixels. I think it's pretty much the exact same as the $2,000 Sony a7 III, but only one card slot, smaller body. How much do you think it costs?
Like $1,500?
$1,800. But I kind of agree.
That was a low guess.
No, I think it should have been about $1,500. It feels a little high to me with just the one card slot.
It's got the older menu system.
Oh, they didn't give us the new menus from the Sony a7S III?
Probably has the older processor. But otherwise it looks good. It's like a fun little camera. It's definitely a little simplified. Look, like the eye, it's like a rangefinder.
Oh, I like that because then my nose doesn't smush into the screen.
I like smushing my nose violently into my camera.
All the left-eye people are going to be so mad. It's okay, left-eye people. You have literally every other camera.
What's this little lens?
That is part of the new Samyang Tiny Lens series that they made for Sony full-frame cameras. They're just really small full-frame lenses to kind of fill that niche that Micro Four Thirds is leaving behind.
I could see this kind of competing with like an X-T4. It's like small, it's cute, but it's like a full-size sensor.
Okay, well, I'll bring my X-T4 and we'll see which we like better.
Okay.
Here we are in Westerly, Rhode Island, and I wanted to check it out to see how it did handheld vlogging. I'm using the Samyang 18mm f2.8. It looks pretty stable, but with my sunglasses on, I cannot see the screen at all. So it's definitely time to take off your sunglasses and not be Casey Neistat.
Wait, I can see the screen fine with my sunglasses.
I'm just a little off angle, then I can't see it at all.
I love Westerly. A lot of Italians settled here, and you can still see that influence. And a lot of Italians built the buildings here, including some of my family. So you'll see their names on the buildings, the Nardones, the Antoninos. It's very cool. And still good pizza, still good Italian food. Oh, already the exposure compensation was bumped down. Gotta be careful about that.
Yeah, it doesn't have a lock, huh?
No, no lock, and it can be a little easy to bump. Look at these old hats. Tony, would you wear one of these little bow ties?
No.
Why? Your style's been very boaty lately. That's cute here. I really miss having the secondary dial below the shutter button. If you only adjust one setting, such as aperture, it's fine. But if you regularly use manual mode, you can do that, but you have to use the fiddly little rear dial for the secondary setting, which requires repositioning your hand. It's a small thing, but it's something. How's stabilization on this camera?
Glad you brought that up, Chelsea. In the real world, shooting with unstabilized primes, we had serious problems with camera shake, even at the reciprocal roll. In my controlled stabilization test with careful hand-holding, I got only about 75% sharp just one stop below the reciprocal roll, and less than half the shots were sharp at 2 stops below. The new Canon system got similar results at about 8 stops below the reciprocal roll. Sony had to redesign the sensor stabilization system to fit into the smaller body, and the sacrifice is evident.
I feel like I'm going to drop it in the water.
While it does help with unstabilized lenses, you should not rely on the sensor stabilization system in low light conditions.
Ooh, I think it buffers a little slowly. Maybe it's my card. You still can't change some menu settings or record video while the camera is buffering. Still, we never ran out of buffer, and the buffer always cleared quickly when shooting continuously, so it wasn't a big problem.
How does the touch to focus work?
Good. It's fine. It's not like the fastest camera, but it's fine. I've been using brand new cameras that just came out. It feels exactly the same as the a7 III to me. not ergonomically because the buttons are in different places, but the responsiveness and the way it takes pictures and the autofocus all feels the same. Should that be correct? Is it all the same guts?
Yeah. Some of you have noticed that Chelsea drops her T's when she says buttons.
Buttons, buttons, buttons.
That's a regional accent very specific to this part of Rhode Island where her Italian great-grandparents settled when they first came to the US, and I think it's cool that her accent reveals a bit of her family history.
The people shall have their part.
I love the Sony 16-35 f4 for like walking around travel, but it's actually a little too big for my hands. Like my fingers kind of barely fit in there. Chelsea didn't have that problem with her hands, but I think if you had especially big hands, you'd really only want to use the smallest of primes on this body. As soon as I saw this camera, I thought they're definitely trying to take on Fuji and Olympus with the kind of retro styling. Sony's take on it is more modern. You know, they don't have the sort of fake leather textures that you get in the Fuji cameras. For me, I like the Fuji better. Certainly if I was just trying to look cool, I don't want to go for the Fuji. So if you're just a photography hipster, I think this is still the camera to get. But the Sony is in many ways a more practical camera. Sony's mid-range lenses are pretty equivalent to Fuji's top-end lenses. So if you wanted, for example, an 85mm f1.4 full-frame equivalent, Sony has that. Fuji does not. The fastest they have is equivalent to an f1.8. If you're not a pro, you probably don't care about that. But if you're thinking about expanding into top-end lenses, Sony might be a better choice. But for me, if I was traveling, I think I'd enjoy using the Fuji more, and the lenses are just fine for the average consumer. Also, it's a little weird, like this might be a better pro camera, but the fact that it only has a single card slot is pretty limiting because this Fuji actually has 2 card slots, so you have a backup just in case one fails. You don't have to lose all of your memories. The Sony autofocus is better, and it's full frame, and it's only $200 more. I mean, decide whether you want results or fun. This is me talking to a dead mic. Because the mic jack got pulled loose or the wireless receiver's battery died, you'd think the camera would be beeping or flashing red, but no, they just let you talk to nothing without any warning because nobody has ever made a camera for vloggers. For hybrid shooters doing some vlogging, the a7C doesn't completely solve this problem, but it does help by supporting Sony connections through the hot shoe, including this Sony receiver that records 2 wireless lavs simultaneously, separating them between the left and right channels. This greatly improves our audio quality when 2 of us are on camera. It's brilliant and doesn't require separate batteries in the receiver, so there's less to fail. Oh, by the way, in this clip, I was complaining that the a7C doesn't have a thumbstick and doesn't let you touch the menus, so you have to use the rather clumsy directional pad to navigate everything. It's actually a pretty minor complaint compared to losing all your sound. So now I want to try out the eye detect autofocus and the handheld vlogging. I'm using a 24mm f1.4, which creates pretty intense shallow depth of field. Like, not that I need it with these pretty surroundings, I just want to push the autofocus system to the extreme. Let's see what happens if I flip around and check out Chelsea.
What's up? Did it work?
It's trying, it's trying.
You want to see how I cracked my phone? Did it work?
Yes.
Sad, right?
Hold your phone up again. It's not, oh, no, it didn't work.
Huh?
It didn't work. Oh. Now let's try the classic unboxing test whereby I hold stuff up. Okay, it's not super snappy. It's not like A7S snappy. That was the Samyang. It still hasn't focused on my face. It's got the box around my face. There we go, okay. This is the Samyang 45mm f1.8. I'm not endorsing these. I haven't officially tested it yet, but uh-oh, we've had an emergency over here. What happened?
Okay, I broke my phone. I got the first crack I've gotten on a phone in a long time. I just took off my case and the back of my phone. What do you do?
This is not focusing on your face. There we go.
My face is sad. Does it focus on sadness?
And this is the Samyang 35mm prime. Come on, you can focus. You can do it. You can do it. Come on. Oh, there we go. Okay, so it's definitely not snappy at this stuff. Maybe it's not a vlogging camera, but I think it could work in a pinch. as long as you don't push it too hard. The continuous video autofocus is better than the Sony a7 III it's based on, but it's just not good enough for us to use. It's worse than the $750 Sony ZV-1 or even the full-frame $1,000 Canon EOS RP. Hybrid shooters at this price point should consider the $1,800 Canon EOS R, which offers 25% more megapixels, far superior video autofocus, a nice top screen, and it just feels better in the hand. However, the a7C is smaller, offers full-width 4K 30, sensor stabilization sort of, and cableless external microphones.
What's your conclusion, Tony?
I actually think it's a great travel camera. If you're getting into photography and the $1,800 body doesn't scare you away, then yeah, you should grab it because it has kind of unlimited potential and a really proven platform. What do you think? Your main camera was an a7 or III.
Yeah.
Would you pick this one up to have something attractive and pocketable as a walking around camera?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a cool travel camera. I mean, the autofocus is really good. It's full frame. It produces beautiful images, but it's smaller and it's really cute too. I think there's something to a camera being good looking.
I can see myself getting one of these to accompany my main camera, which is the 60 megapixel a7R4. This could be my backup body and my walking around camera.
Yeah.
For those times when I don't need like that heavy lifting. What do y'all think? Are you gonna buy one? Does this make you miss the Olympus cameras a little bit less, especially with those compact Samyang lenses? Let us know in the comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell.
Whoa.
That's just rude.
That's when you know a video is good.
Okay, bye.
Okay.